I can't do it. There's much too meaning behind every album I own. The place it was bought, what age I bought it, how I've listened to them over the years. They collect dust and then they are rediscovered and appreciated and embraced, and softly put back into the collection. I cannot just go buy some random album to alter. It would not have any meaning, and it almost seems disrespectful. I can't do it. They're too dear. They have so many stories. And then the gallery says they will play the album, so I have to pick one that has meaning, not just from a visual sense, but from a sound sense too, which means I have to pick a really, really good one. One that has rhythm and is cool and can stand up to other tracks playing during the evening. One that is a paragon of its genre. One that is seminal, and then I have to fucking desecrate the cover. No. I want to pick something that is bad, that I do not want anymore, that has no meaning, that bookmakers would not even buy. I can't even do that. These things are real. They're physical artifacts of my life, of learning how to listen to rock and roll and jazz and pop music. They're how I learned sex and smoking and being a poser. They're how I came to love live music. I got my first real record player when I was 12. I still use the same machine. It works, it has gears and arms and tracking devices and weights. I have no idea how sound comes out of the record from the needle, through some wires to the amp to the speakers, but it is magical and wonderful and noisy and warm and amazing. These things are not just an image. You can touch, smell, feel. They are analog. Their wavelengths have actual curves. They skip and crackle and break. They are independent from the listening device. They exist on their own. How can I alter that? Is there nothing precious these days? What would a show be of altering the digital image of an album cover? They're selling vinyl at Barnes and Buttbrain right now. Reissues of classics and some new stuff produced for the first time on vinyl, and by the original record companies. Vinyl revival, long live vinyl. They're even selling little record players next to the vinyl. DJs don't even use vinyl these days. Records are big. You have to hold them with two hands. My friend has a 12-foot long and 9-foot high wall filled with records. That is crazy. It's probably about 1,000 pounds of records. My iPod probably has as many records and it weighs an ounce. What is the difference between vinyl and other sounds? People used to think CDs sounded so much better. Now vinyl is back. It's sexy. It's warm. Digital music is technically better. It's hard to get bass on vinyl. I guess there was always a lament in the beginning that CDs were so small and the artwork was so hard to see compared to albums. I think we've gotten past that. These days we watch television shows on iPods. It's no longer an issue. It's kind of like talking on cell phones is no longer weird. I have to walk to my record collection. I peruse the objects. I have to flip through each one and I look at either the thin band on the side or the actual 12 by 12 cover. I pick something, take it out of its record cover, take it out of its sleeve, plastic or paper, and I clean it with a dust rag, place it on the turntable, move the arm over and place the cartridge over the beginning of the record. Listen. Comes to an end. Place the cartridge back in its home base, turn the record over, clean it, and place it on the turntable. Then move the cartridge over to the beginning of the record. Listen. I'm fucking sweating. That was so much work. And then there are the stores, Tower and Amoeba and North Beach, and albums and wax tracks and Toxic Ranch and Chambers. I used to go to a store in Champaign and it was up some stairs from the main drag. The stairs were probably 24 inches wide and steep. And you could get up to the store, and then there were record bins everywhere, and punk kids were playing all the new wave crap. And then there was a store in Northbrook I would drive to 3 or 4 suburbs away, because they had all the new stuff, unlike my hometown, which was a basement storefront underneath a hardware store on the main street, and they were rumored to sell pot to the kids. And then there was a store in North Beach that was a total fire hazard, a basement space with one way out, and you could not even access an aisle until the person in it got out. It was like 18 inches wide at most, and I don't even think the records were in order or categorized. And then there was the awesome store on 4th Avenue with the great blues collection, and Amoeba in the Hay, which was like entering a Walmart. You had to go there with a list. You could not just peruse the aisles. There were so many records in that store, kind of like PDQ, but maybe 3 times the size. And the little place on 12th in Seattle near the university, when albums started going by the wayside. They had all these amazing pressings that cost 25 to 50 bucks, and I could not help myself, and I bought a few, and this was at a time when I could not afford the bus. The stores, the way they smelled, the guys and girls who worked there, the little pins, the buttons they used to sell, and you'd put them on your overcoat, and then the stickers for your cars or bike or board, and the posing, and the scene, and the act of just sitting there, going through the albums alphabetically, and by genre, and then buying the record and taking it home and getting the cellophane off and looking at the cover for the first time without the cellophane, and taking the record out of the jacket and then out of the sleeve, and hopefully it was a paper sleeve with the plastic on the inside, and feeling the weight of the record, maybe it is cheap and thin plastic, or the marketable 180-gram vinyl, or maybe it is white or red like that fantastic Golden Boots album, or plain black with some awesome artwork for the record label, or just Columbia Red or Geffen Blue or Arista Landscape, and then taking the shiny new record and placing it on the turntable and making sure there is no dust on the needle before mounting it on the virgin record for the first time. Magic. After I hear it, I can put the record back wherever the fuck I want. I can place it in a bookshelf or a crate or on top of the stereo, and I can place it next to some other record that has no connection. It is not the same genre or the same alphabet letter or anything. I can organize my albums by color. I can alter the cover and write notes on it and put my name on it and make it my own. But I'm not. It is precious, it is physical, it is production of musicians and businessmen and artists and photographers and writers and engineers. And I consume it and savor it and preserve it because it is pure magic.